Hello, everyone. My name is Cameron, and tonight I want to discuss this journey that I've been progressing through with overcoming pressure. And I'm going to do that by first discussing three key words that have made a huge impact in my life. And from there, talk about how they made such ginormous changes throughout my freshman year with qualifying for nationals and then going on to compete at the Junior World Championships. And at the end, I'm going to reflect on how they've changed my mindset and how they've inspired the kinds of leaders that I want to be more like in my approach and how I perceive leadership to be. So let me start off with talking about these three words. They were spoken to me by my first coach named Richard. And Richard was a man who is so incredibly devoted to his athletes. He was the person who introduced me to my passion for throwing and told me that, you have this amazing opportunity to go on and pursue getting an education in the United States. I'm from Canada, for those who don't know, and being an international student has been absolutely incredible. And he was the first person to tell me that this was even possible. And he coached me from the age of 12 to the age of 16. And sadly, when I was 16, he passed away. But I was able to see him a few days beforehand, and I will never forget standing there beside his bed and him telling me, looking me directly in the eyes and telling me, Camryn, train and study. And those were the last words that he ever spoke to me. And they resonated so deeply in my heart. And I started to adapt my entire life around train and study. From then on, I became completely and utterly devoted and focused towards coming to the States and being able to get an incredible education and pursue throwing and continue doing hammer throw. And I have been so grateful to be able to come here to Berkeley and really live out that dream. But at the same time, when he said those words to me, it struck this sort of emotion deep inside of me. And I didn't realize what it was till later on, but from that moment on, I started to feel this sense of pressure, this sense of not wanting to let the people in my life down, knowing that I had these expectations around me. But at the time, I used those expectations to set my goals higher and to keep pushing for more. And it really challenged me to do better and study harder and train more efficiently and smartly my entire freshman year. And it was all going completely fantastic until I competed at the regional championships. Now, regional championships is the meet you go to qualify for nationals. And I was so excited. I was looking forward to it so much. I think I was ranked potentially fifth coming in. And the second that I got into the competition, this sort of fear enveloped my heart, and these butterflies started dancing around my stomach, and I could feel this weight on my shoulders. And it was unlike anything I had ever experienced before. And I remember standing there wondering, what is going on? And that day, I ended up not qualifying to go to nationals. I came 13th, and I was an inch away from going, an inch. And after, I felt a little bit defeated. I had tried to do everything I could to train and to study and to prepare myself for this moment. And when it came time to do it, I couldn't. And so afterwards, I had to take time, take a step back, and really reflect on where it was that, I went wrong. I wanted to learn from my mistakes. I wanted to be better. And I was able to talk with my coach here, Coach Mo. And he told me, Camryn, pressure doesn't have to be this weight on your shoulders. It can be the thing that fuels you to do better. And to be better, pressure means that you care about what you're doing. And pressure can be that huge push, a huge push that takes you to that next level. You just need to be able to work with it. You won't always be prepared for every single thing, but that little bit of pressure, that's what makes you a good competitor. That's what really gets you to the next step. And similar to train and study, I took these words and I really incorporated that into my life. I suddenly realized that what he said was correct. Of course, coach was always correct. That pressure does not have to be this debilitating force. It can be the thing that drives us forward. And so hearing that, I completely changed my entire approach to training, because I had also qualified for Team Canada to go to the Junior World Championships after this. And from this moment on, I trained even harder than before. And I got myself as prepared as possible for that moment, because I suddenly felt so ready. I knew what to expect. I knew that I could use this excitement and this pressure and this fear to my benefit, when suddenly, a week before I was supposed to leave, I got a second-degree sprain in my right ankle. And then a couple days later, I ended up pulling my ab. I just remember standing there going, while I'm getting my ankle wrapped up, while I'm getting my ab taken care of, thinking, I didn't expect this. What am I going to do now? How am I supposed to perform in the way that I've been practicing? How am I supposed to represent my country on the big stage? I felt like I had done everything I could up until that moment. And all of a sudden, these new hurdles, these new barriers were in my way, until I remembered exactly what Coach Mo said. We can't always prepare for everything. We can't. We can only control what we do. We can prepare ourselves, but we won't always be prepared for all of these other factors in our lives that change our approach to everything. And once I remembered that, it kind of kicked me into drive. It kicked me, into sixth gear with, okay, I can do this. That similar tingling of pressure was coming back, except this time I knew what to do. And so I went to Worlds. I qualified for the final, and walking out there wearing my Team Canada singlet, seeing all of these athletes from around the world with me, I started to get those similar feelings of pressure again, those similar and familiar pings in my stomach, those butterflies, that weight was coming back. But this time I felt ready, because I had been here before. I knew what was going to happen. And I also knew that my ab and my ankle, I couldn't have prepared for those, but I did prepare myself mentally to be in this competition and to get my job done. And so when I walked into the circle that day with my hammer, getting ready to go into my first throw, I just remember thinking, this is the kind of power that I want to feel. This is the kind of confidence that I want to feel in myself. There will be so many different things coming at us and preventing us from, or we think they prevent us from truly achieving our goals and our dreams, but it just proves how strong we really are. And on that first throw at Worlds, I got my winning throw. And so now, bringing it full circle, when I take these moments and these experiences and think about what it taught me, these things have shown me that, especially in leadership, adaptability and flexibility are some of the most important skills that we can take away. We won't always be able to expect every little thing, but we can prepare ourselves best for the ifs, ands, and the buts. If we prepare ourselves mentally, then we are already ahead of the game. And then, especially as Kat was mentioning earlier, our strengths and our weaknesses, to be so open-minded that we can accept what our strengths are, but also what our weaknesses are, it gives us the opportunity to learn from other people. And when we're open to learning, we receive so much more information that we never would have considered otherwise. And going into my 5th year here now at Cal, I feel like all of these little bits of information, learning from other people, they've made me more prepared to help others and to guide others, whether they be freshmen, transfers, anybody. It's made me a person better equipped to work with other people. And I love people. I love talking to people and learning from people. And a lot of the time with pressure, we don't realize that we've had this weight on our shoulders, or that we've had such heavy expectations on ourselves, until it kind of all comes crumbling down. But thankfully, I had the best people around me to show me that pressure does not have to be this weight on our shoulders. It can be the cape around our shoulders that gives us the power to perform, especially under stressful situations. And now, as I look forward, feel that pressure. But this time, I know that I'm ready. Thank you.